All right. Welcome back to Currency 365 and also Eyes Open Media. Hope you guys are doing well. I still haven't done the Eyes Open Media video dump yet. And I was supposed to do it yesterday. Forgot to do it. I'll do it today. So hopefully you guys on Eyes Open Media will have all the videos, all the latest videos. It might be like 4 or 5 videos that I need to put over there. But let's talk about this video because this is the topic is modern men waiting till they're 40 years old to basically get married and start a family and have a legacy. And this is what Kevin Samuels is telling us. Is pushing to the men like, yeah, look, just relax and chill. Do your thing, and what I mean. Do what you got to do, be a player, whatever the case may be, but be responsible, right? And then once you get to your 40, you should be at your high value status. You should be at your peak level, and life starts to get really fun at 40 because you're now in bosses positions or VP positions or high value positions, and your finances should be good to go, and you should start having maybe you have a house, you have an apartment or a home or whatever. You should have things now, right? And so now you're able to attract the woman that you want, and a 25-year-old, 27-year-old, 28-year-old, 30-year-old woman that's ready to have a child, ready to have children with you and start a legacy. you know Now, and look, that sounds cool and everything. And if you take the religious stuff out of it, that sounds cool. If you take the trauma out of it, that sounds cool. If you take karma out of it, that sounds cool. If you take all the diseases that people are getting because they're sleeping around, that sounds cool. What I mean? Like, if you take reality out of it, it sounds cool. You know what I mean? Um, but that's you got to take all that stuff out of it for it to sound really cool and for it to actually work. You know, but the problem is that we do have karma. We do have diseases. A lot of men are out of shape, so in their 20s. So by the time they hit 40s, they're really out of shape. You know what I mean? Most men eat bad. We eat burgers and fries and hot dogs and beef and pork and chicken wings and stuff. So most men are have just eating habits are horrible. So a lot of men are get sick. By the time by the time you're 40, your hair's falling out and you got a bare gut and all these things. You know what I mean? For most men, we're not talking about there's a maybe 20% of men that still are model figure model shape at 40 years old. Like, let's be real. You know what I mean? Not everybody is wearing a suit and with designer glasses like Kevin Samuels on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, most men at 40 are dealing with crisis, midlife crisis, and your skin is wrinkling, your hair is falling out, you're balding, and you're trying to save your hair, you're trying to save your skin, you're trying to save your body is out of shape, you have a beer gut. I mean, you can't barely get out of bed, you're aching, you're paining, you're not 20 anymore. That's reality of most men. So for most men, let's say 80% of men, to have to wait till they're 40 to then get married is a complete no-no for most men. Now, if Kevin is talking about the 20% men that are corporate, in shape, taking minerals, in the gym, still look like they're 20 some years old, you know, in very great shape, designer clothes, suits, and things like that. Fly cars, nice houses. If you're talking about the 20% of them, yeah, okay, and you want them to wait till they're 40 to start, to have it settle down and have a family and kids and things like that. I still think that's too late. I mean, that's it's waiting too long, But that's what Kevin Samuels thinks. in my opinion. I just I can't do that because, well, for my case, I am gonna have to do that, but but you know what I mean, but for many other people, I don't like that. For other people, if you're in that top 20%, or even let's just not even say the top 20%. Let's just say men in general. I just don't like that. I don't like that. He has his own opinions, and that's fine. I respect his opinion. That's fine. But for me personally, in my opinion, I think men should be married at 20 by 25. What is the weight? You know what I mean? If you have a great woman, if you have a great woman by your side, at 25 years old, then what's the wait? You're 25, like you're starting your career together, like you guys are leaving college together, you're starting your careers together, and then you start a family together. Like that's what it should be about. You know what I mean? I don't want 25-year-old men out here, messing with all any type of women and prostitutes and baby mama sugar mamas and stuff like that, and catching all types of diseases and stuff. And then by the time they 35, 40 years old and they're ready to go, they got all this trauma and destruction in in their brains, you know what I mean, and their mindsets. They got all these demons in them. You know what I mean? Kevin doesn't even look at the spiritual side of these things. He's only looking at the physical side. When you sleep with people, you catching all their demons and all this trauma and all these things that you get when you sleep with people, man. Like, you can't just be sleeping with people because you're young. Like, you're working your way up the ranks, and he's talking about Hulk smash and things like that. Like, that sounds great if you don't have if we didn't have the spiritual side of things. You know what I mean? If we didn't have the religious side of things and the spiritual side of things and the karma side of things, then that would be okay. And the diseases, you know what I mean? Like, if we didn't have all that, then okay, then yeah, you can. It'd be no reason why a man would get married until 40 if we didn't have all of those things. If God didn't care, or God didn't exist, and the spiritual realm didn't exist, and the trauma and all these things didn't exist, then yeah, what's the point of being married? Because marriage is a union between your partner, and God. So if God didn't exist, there wouldn't even be marriage. So basically, Kevin is talking about a world with no God, because you know what I mean. Until you're 40, then all of a sudden God exists and say, "Okay, I'm here. It's time for you to get married." You know what I mean? So, um, so it is kind of weird, but I get what he's trying to say is that our brains as men, or modern men, our brains don't function completely until we're about 35, 40. So it's better to be married around that time where find your wife and settle down with children around the time where your brain is fully functionable and you're at your peak performance in your career. But the problem is that a lot of men and modern men, when we hit 40, everything breaks down. You know what I mean? Like, everything is like, most men at 40, their physical nature is weak. A lot of them are weak at 40. They're not strong anymore. Like, they let themselves go. Like, and so I see a lot of men my age, and you know what I mean, and I'm like, Lord have mercy, you know what I mean. Like, I see a lot of women my age, I'm like, Lord have mercy, you know what I mean. And so people let themselves go, you know what I mean. And if that's what they want to do, that's so be it for them, right? But majority of the people at 40 years old are not healthy. Majority of people in general at 40 years old are not the same as they were back in, I don't even know. I mean, maybe back in the 60s we were a lot better. I don't know. But today, 40 years old is absolutely, I mean, people look people have let themselves go, man. So I mean, you got people like at 28 looking like they 58. So, you know what I mean? You guys see it all the time. You got young cats, young dudes and women just letting themselves completely go. I seen one lady, I mean, I think she was maybe 19. Lord have mercy. It was like, where's the guidance at? Where's the discipline, the structure? I mean, it was gone. Like she literally didn't care about life, didn't care about appearance, didn't care about anything, didn't have. I mean, so this is what's going on. We got, and so Kevin's really just talking about maybe the top 20%, because majority of men at 40 are gone. Yeah, I mean, and ladies, have y'all seen these men at 40, 45, 50 years old? Lord have mercy, man. You know what I mean? So a lot of y'all are like, my husband gonna be about 28. Because the men that I see at 40 to 45, that's how some of you got ladies talk, and I know, right? So so it's kind of, so I'm pretty sure Kevin is talking about the top 20%, you know. And then you got to think about the trauma and the stuff that you're doing to the women. I mean, you're just sleeping around from 18 to 40 years old. You know how much trauma you're putting into these women. You're just sleeping with them knowing that you're not going to be married till you're 40, and so you're deceiving them. I mean, you're not. I mean, I know Kevin doesn't say that. Kevin says, "Look, tell them up front what that you're not serious. It's not a serious relationship, and we're just having fun. And I don't want anything serious till I'm 40, so I'm just having fun with you." If the women agree with that, then that's a different story. Then that's y'all. That's what y'all doing together. But you can imagine the spiritual trauma. Women aren't built like that. First of all, emotionally, women might say agree with it, and then within 2 weeks they're like, you know what, I want something better. I want to actually be with you, right? That's what women usually do. They will go from, okay, we're sleeping around, to, okay, I need to be with you because I'm starting to get attached. Women get attached, right? And so, and they want, they don't want nobody else to be with you. They see you sleeping around with three other women and you got them on rotation. Then at some point they're either gonna be like, all right, get me off the rotation, or let me be the only one in the rotation. You know what I mean? And then all of that trauma is just hitting everybody at the same time. All the demons and trauma and all the stuff in the spiritual realm is just bad. It's just bad. So imagine a man at 18 going, just sleeping his life away with different women until he's 18, and then transferring all of that trauma and demons to his wife. Oh, Lord have mercy. That's not a recipe we want to have at all, right? That woman coming in might not have any clue that her man had slept with 9,000 people, or 800 women, since 18 to 40, and he about to transfer thousands of demons and thousands of trauma and thousands of generational curses into her. Kevin, we can't do stuff like that, bro. But I get it. Kevin's not thinking about the spiritual side of it and the trauma side of it. He's just talking about the physical. I get it, but we can't do that. Here we're talking about the spiritual side. We're talking about the godly side, the religious side, the spiritual side, the trauma, the karma. I mean, imagine leading a girl on for 3 years knowing that you don't want nothing serious and you're just leading her on. That's terrible. We gotta repent for stuff like that, right? So we gotta say we're sorry. We gotta repent for stuff like that, because that stuff comes back and haunts us and gets us. We can't treat women like that, man. We can't treat women like sex, like objects, like sex slaves. That's what we're basically doing if we're going from 19 to 40 without marriage and without having anything serious, and we just want to play around, right? And we're playing with women's emotions. This is why women are so bitter when they hit 40, because they realize men have been playing with them and using them as sex objects for for 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, and they get very, very mad and bitter, and then so they start hating men, and they buy a dog and they die alone, right? So, or a cat, so they buy a dog and a cat, and then they die alone because they're bitter. They realize they were sex objects. I mean, that's not a good feeling to to realize you're a sex object. You know what I mean? And so they get bitter, and so we can't treat women like that, man. I'm not a proponent. I'm not gonna approve that, Kevin Samuels. I'm not approving that, man. That we need to wait till we're 40 to settle down and basically just play around and have fun until then. I'm not gonna. That's too many diseases. That's too much trauma. That's too much karma. Guys get themselves in bad situations, especially that young. You get yourself in bad situations, man. You end up in strip clubs and with prostitutes and all type. I mean, you can. It's easy to say, "Hey, man, just get a sugar baby or sugar mama, or just deal with the women that are in your colleges and stuff." But you already know how men are, man. If you open that door, then it's gonna open the door to prostitution and strippers and all types of stuff. You know what I mean? And so we get ourselves in trouble, as men, and especially when we have a gap like between 18 and 40, we're really going to get ourselves in trouble, right? This is why I'm a proponent of men at 25 being married. You're married at 25, you know and you start your journey, and you're starting to build your legacy, and you build a family at 25. I think 25 is the right age for men coming out of college. If you're not in college, if you don't have a skill set, then maybe you got to go to your maybe 28, 30. But it's really important to have a degree and a skill set before you get married. I think that's very important because you need to have some type of skill set so that you can bring in income either online or at a physical job, and then support your marriage, support your family, and be able to build, right? And so if you don't have a skill set, you have no business getting married if you have no skill sets. Okay? Because you can't support anybody, including yourself, right? So it's very important that even if you don't go to college, you must have a skill set that you can use to be able to work, or have a business to be able to provide. No woman wants to be with a man that can't provide. Okay, so even if she can provide for both of y'all, she still wants you to provide, right? That's just what women do, unless they're some type of modern masculine women saying, "I got this. You go sit in the car or go watch the children while I go and work 90 hours a week." You know what I mean? Like if you got yourself a masculine woman like that, and a modern masculine, that's a different story. I feel sorry for you. That's a different. You chose that. That's your life. Okay, but most women that are feminine and queen like, they want their men to support, to be the supporting, even if they are making more money, they still want the man to lead and support. So in my opinion, 25 like between 25, by 20 time you're 25, you should have a skill set, and a degree, or both, right? And you should be able to be on your way to be making money. Okay, so you should already have a $50,000, 40 to $50,000 a year job, because that's the average salary that most men get when they come out of college. Okay, so hopefully you're a little bit above that. If you have a specific skill set, hopefully you're making 60 to 70,000 coming out of college instead of the average. But if you're making the average of 40 to 50,000 coming out of college, okay, we start there, and then you start to build, and then that's when your wife is there, and she's also working as well. And then maybe you take a year before you have a child, so that you can build some income up with you and your wife. And then maybe your wife stays home, but she works from home part-time. Maybe she has a part-time gig at home, and so bringing some more income in. Okay, so I mean, these are things you can look at. Or maybe your wife doesn't work at all, and she just takes care of the children, and maybe you have three children within a 5-year period, and you're building yourself up, to you're not just depending on one income, but maybe you have some crypto staking, some stock dividends, 401k, pension, and then maybe you also have maybe a side hustle as well that you're doing. Okay, maybe an online job or something else as well that you're doing as well. So multiple streams of income starts to come into the picture. That's what I want people to start. That's what I would like to see at 25 for modern men, right? And so you build with it, where you get a degree, or you have a high school diploma and then you have a trade, a skill set, a specific skill set out of college or high school, or a certificate out of a training school, and then you build from there. Then you build your family from there. And then you also, while you're building your family, you're also building multiple streams of income. Okay, and so and it's not, it doesn't have to be labor. It could be crypto staking, stock dividends, 401k, pension, you know what I mean, like stuff like retirement accounts, but also passive income. Okay, and so, and then you maybe you do another little physical gig on the side, maybe some DoorDash or whatever the case may be, or maybe you run an online business, or maybe you teach your skill set, because if you have a specific skill set, then you can teach it online. You don't have to have a teacher's degree to teach online, right? So you can do a Patreon, you can do a YouTube, and you're teaching online, and you're earning it and you're monetizing it. There you go, right? So now you have two incomes, at least two incomes from that, from your own skill set. You have two incomes. You have the physical income, and then you have your teaching income from that skill set. Okay, and then you have crypto staking, and then that's another income, passive income, and then you also have stock dividends, right? So that's another income stream, right? And then you got your retirement account, your pension, your 401k from your physical job. Now you're building. You're 25 and now you're building. Okay. And then you got your wifey, and then you got your child, and then maybe you have two or three more children, and you're building like that. Okay, instead of waiting till you're 40 and you're sleeping with every woman in the world, and just creating trauma, baby mamas. You know what I mean? By the time you're 40, you ready to settle down. You got 9 kids, 1,000. You slept with 1,000 women. You have 9 kids. You got trauma on trauma on trauma. Demons was on demons upon demons. Marine Kingdom demons terrifying you at night, and then you're gonna want to pass that down and to your wife. Oh, heck no. You know what I mean? So I don't agree with that, Kevin. It's too much. There's too much spiritual warfare. There's too much things going on when you allow a man to go 18 and 40 with just being reckless. You can say all you want that, no, we're not going to be reckless. We're going to actually tell the woman that this is what we want. It's still going to be reckless. Men are men. Men are reckless human beings from 18 to 40. Don't matter. It don't matter what we tell them, right? Don't matter what a coach says in football. They still going to make penalties. They're still gonna draw offsides. They're still gonna go offsides. They're still gonna have personal fouls, helmet to helmet calls. They, even with perfect coaching from Nick Saban, they still will make mistakes, right? And so so 18 to 40 is a long time to make a lot of mistakes, and that's what we see in men. We see men make a lot of mistakes by the time they hit 40, and the mistakes are so great that they let themselves go, and they go into a state of, I don't care anymore, right? And a lot of you women, you walk by men every day that don't care anymore. You can, they're 40 and over, and they do not care anymore. I mean, they coming out with, hey, listen, this is cute. Let's just, let's just move on. It's sad. It's sad. I see a lot of men over 40 that don't care anymore. And I mean, they have let themselves go. Let's just put it that way, right? But anyways, it is what it is. So maybe Kevin's talking about the top 20% of men. Either way, I still don't like that option. I rather have the option of our modern men be married, especially the bronze modern men, be married at 25 with a skill set, and then build a family and a legacy, and then have multiple, and then create multiple streams of income from that skill set. Um, I think that'd be better for our communities. I think our communities would be very strong if our men at 25 were responsible and married. I think our communities would thrive if men were responsible and married. But that's just me. You guys, if you guys think I'm wrong, then it is what it is. Okay. So, anyways, peace out. God bless, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Eyes open.